So, why did you choose martial arts themes for your Jetta series?
Man, because I grew up in martial arts. I'm a child of the '80s, and in the '80s they had a lot of ninja movies, and I loved every one of those cheesy ninja movies. I loved them, and I loved the cheesy in ninja movies, and I loved the '80s like Top Gun and Iron Eagle movies. Those two, I used to if I wasn't watching one, I was watching the other. You know what I mean? So I love them, and I grew up actually in martial arts as well. I am a second degree black belt in Shotokan karate.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today, and I'm your host, Tiberius Boy. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us. Today's is going to be very interesting. We're going to talk to a graphic novel artist. Now, do we really know what a graphic novel artist does? Well, I've read a ton of graphic novels, so I think I do. But you know what? Let's just talk to this guy and find out. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Martheus Wade.
Good day. Hello. How's everybody doing today?
Well, thank
It's
you for
great.
being on the show today.
Why have I got my thumbs up? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I'm just like thumbs up, soldier. I don't know.
Okay, so you are listed as a graphic artist and graphic novel artist and the creator of stories and, well,
Yes.
so many other things. So to start off, how did you get started with drawing?
I've been drawing since I was little. I think I was drawing before I could actually speak. So a lot of times I drew out what I was wanting for my mom and stuff like that. That's what she would tell me. So um, I used to really and love drawing. I got into it by doing that, and then I really like being able to put drawing and words together once I started like being able to like get into school and read. So I've been drawing since I was like in elementary.
Okay, so when did you make your first comic character?
Elementary. It was elementary. Like I as soon as I got my first comic book, I actually started making my own characters based off of characters that I saw. I still love Batman. I still love Spider Man. Um, And then I will tell you the boom with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is when I was like, oh man, you can have black and white comics too. So I was like really into I was into all that. But in elementary, I was big at drawing like and they were I mean they were like spoofs of other characters essentially. You know what I mean? Because that's all I knew. But I mean, it was elementary. Elementary, I had my own version of Batman, my own version of Spider Man, um, my own version of Superman, stuff like that. You know.
So how did you take your love of art and use it for more professional business purposes?
Uh, well, I also do logo designs, brand identity for people. I've worked for sports companies and I've worked for sports teams. I've worked for advertising agencies and things like that. You know, being able to take those things and kind of almost marry them with my comic book style. It's kind of given me a different type of look at brand identity that's not so stodgy and kind of I hate to say boring. It's not boring. It's more pop culture infused with the corporate world. So that's kind of how I'm able to do things that are, you know, it's graphic. It's still graphic design, and it still has a place in graphic noveling, but it's kind of branches out to the wider world as well.
So I see that you went to college to study graphic design. Was it worth
Hmm.
taking the time to get formal classes versus still practicing and honing in your craft?
I think that you need both. You really need both. You can't like for especially for graphic design, technology runs is changing so fast, especially nowadays. When I was in college, it was changing fast. I was in the middle of like the internet boom age, you know what I mean? So a lot of things were changing like really rapidly. We were moving from doing things on from press to doing things to digital, digital printing from press printing to digital printing, from using like a big stack machine to like just sending things to a inkjet printer and having just a really good comparison between the two. So we were right in the middle of all that. And I think that nowadays, with so much education and knowledge being on YouTube and things like that, I think that you can still there's still a valuable lesson to be learned in person schooling and getting your formal education and still being able to go out and get a real world job, but hone your stuff on your own time because there's only so much you can do in the classroom.
So, Martheus, when was that one moment that you decided, yep, this is what I'm going to do for a living?
Man, it was probably when I went to my first portfolio review. I ran into one of my favorite comic book artists, and he was there getting acupuncture behind his booth, and I was like, man, that is the coolest thing in the world. so, so I was like, I got a chance to talk to him in depth about what he does and stuff like that, and he started his own thing on his own and how he was able to become like a his own pretty much champion, his own distributor. And then I remember on the bus ride home, because it was in Atlanta and I took the bus from Memphis to Atlanta. And on the bus ride home, I came back and I told my best friend, I was like, man, this is what I'm doing. You know, that-
So, after school, you started to work with an ad agency. What skills did you develop there and that you did not already have?
um, probably I would say more professionalism. So you're in college. In college, a lot of things are like, especially in the art department, at least my art department where I was, it was like really free form. You learned a lot of things in class, but at the same time, they left it up to you so much to be able to kind of carry out that that knowledge. In the workforce, like an ad agency, it was different because you had to be able to do things like um, adhere to what the client wanted you to do, as opposed to the teacher. And teachers and clients have two different, demeanors. The teacher is trying to guide you where the client is paying you. So you really don't want to make the client mad, So you want to be able to interject your ideas into what the client wants, but also fulfill what they want at the same time. So you kind of learn how to balance those two in the ad agency world. It's not going to always be what you want it to be, your artwork at the end of the day. Um, Sometimes you get lucky and the client goes, hey man, that is great. Your ideas, you are brilliant. And then sometimes they'll go, nah, I don't like that first idea. You need to come up with something better. So then there you go. Whereas in school, the teacher's guiding you. They're saying, why don't you try this? Why don't you do that? It's different. It's different type of mentality.
So, what was the most awkward thing that you had to design or draw as a young graphics designer?
All right, so I didn't have to draw things that were really awkward, but I did have to draw things that were hard, like really hard. Like, okay, so the first thing was marker comps. So I had to do marker comps, and the reason why they were difficult is because of how fast you had to draw in order to get a nice blend. And because of that, because of the speed, you have to have like a marker in each, essentially in between each finger, so you can switch in between pretty quick. You know what I mean? So I'm drawing my right hand, I'm holding my left, and I'm like switching markers in between and switching sides in between. So it was really that was difficult. The second thing was that for my class, it was a figure structure class. I had to draw every bone on a skeleton in correct order on a big piece of paper. It was like a big piece of like 24 by something paper, and I had to turn it in. So it was like, and like I had like a day to do it. So I did it and I turned it in. They graded it by where I put the bones and stuff. Now that was difficult because there's a lot of bones in the skeleton, but it really does give you an appreciation for figure structure, for being able to get things, correct, and being very punctual and timely with what you're drawing. You know what I mean?
I forget how many bones are in the human body. How many are there?
I don't know. I forgot. I didn't get the greatest grade on that one because I left some out.
You didn't count each one individually.
I left a few of those metacarpals out.
So what's the most common tool that you have to use every day to do your work?
Every day I have to use a pencil in some type of way. You know what I mean? Either it's going to be a digital pencil or a wooden number 2 pencil. I mean, my favorite pencil to use though is a mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencil with a 005 lead. That is an awesome pencil. I love mechanical pencils. I've been trying to use mechanical pencils since I started comics. That's what I try to lean the most on if I have that around, is a mechanical pencil.
So what's the hardest part about working as a graphic novel artist?
Probably deadlines are difficult. And being able to nowadays being able to distribute your own books. Distribution has always been the part that's the hardest, is going to be distribution. So I think that nowadays it's both easier to be seen but harder to get your actual book in front of people physically. So you can get a digital book in front of people real quick, but a physical copy of that book is difficult. It's a little bit more difficult to do.
So if a kid wanted to grow up and make comic books or graphic novels, what advice would you give him or her?
Seek therapy. And then after that, no,
okay, I got one step done. What's the next one? What's the next one?
I would seriously just if you are serious about it, just make sure that the story that you want to do is something that you want to be able to work on for a while. You know what I mean? Because once you start on that road, like say if you start on a book and you're not really serious about it, but then you end up, that book takes off. Now you're stuck with that book for the for the remainder of however long you're going to be doing this thing. So and the last thing you want to do is make your fans mad, because when you make your fans angry by being untrue to what they've committed themselves to, then then you got a bad situation on your hands. So I would just say really make sure that the story that you want to be able to produce is something that you really want to be able to produce. So if it does take off, you can stick with it for a while. And if it doesn't take off, and it needs a little bit of more work to do it, you can dedicate that time to make that work happen.
Well, now here seems like a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear it from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut! That's a wrap! Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training, and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here talking with Martheus Wade, graphic novel author. So, Martheus, we see that you are a great artist and storyteller. So, what do you do better, and which one's more important?
Man, that's kind of hard because I can't see doing one over the other. I guess that I do get asked more so to draw things for people. So I would guess it would be at face value, it would be the illustration portion. But story wise, I really love writing stories. I love dialogue. I love being able to have two people talking in a room. I know that's boring. But when people say graphic novels or comics, they want people, I want to see somebody flying through a wall or swinging from a building. And I'm just like, I want to see people talking in a room. I want to see them talking in a room and going to a grocery store. There's two things I want to be able to see. So, I really like being able to have character development and stuff like that. So I really feel like storytelling for me is equally important to the illustration. That's just for me. That's for my book. People hire me to be able to come in and draw their stuff. So then the communication of the artwork needs to be paramount in my mind. But when I'm doing my own stories and my own book, it is always it's a marriage of the two.
So why did you choose martial arts themes for your Jetta series?
Man, because I grew up in martial arts. I'm a child of the 80s, and in the 80s they had a lot of ninja movies, and I loved every one of those cheesy ninja movies. I loved them. I loved the cheesy ninja movies, and I loved the 80s like Top Gun and Iron Eagle movies. Those two I used to if I wasn't watching one, I was watching the other. You know what I mean? So I love them, and I grew up actually in martial arts as well. I am a 2nd degree black belt in Shotokan karate, and I've fought in kickboxing matches, and I've gone to tournaments. I've gone to national tournaments and things like that, and then I stopped doing it because it started to hurt. So, but I still train. I still work out, and I still try to hone my skills and stuff. And that stuff has all been a very important aspect in my drawing and in my creativity, as well as anime and manga. I love anime and manga. I've loved anime and manga before I even knew what they were. To tell you the truth, I know, right? Man, I love it, man. And like. Ever since I found out that the old G.I. Joe cartoons and the old Transformers cartoons were done by Sunbow, and Sunbow was a Japanese company, I was like, dude, I'm in. I'm in. I like. You don't even have to convince me. Don't say anything else. Just point me in a direction, and that's where I'm going. So,
So now that we're on the topic of anime and manga, what's your favorite anime?
My favorite anime of all time has got to be Dragon Ball Z.
And
I love Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, we lost him again. It's such a great question.
There we go.
Such a great question.
No, we'll have to figure it out.
This is such a great question.
I know. We're gonna zoom in on you. Ask it again in 3, 2.
So now that we're on the topic of anime and manga, what's your favorite anime and manga?
Man, my favorite would probably be anime is Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Z. My favorite manga is probably, golly, man. See, there's a lot of good stuff that's come up recently that I'm just like, dang, that's really good, right? You got like the Jujutsu Kaisens. You got like the Demon Slayers. Man, it's hard to say, but I will say this is not on everybody's level, on something that everybody would look at. But I would say Junji Ito stuff. Junji Ito is like, he's a horror guy, but at the same time, you know, his stories are they make you think. You know what I mean? They make you think. So I really like that. But I would probably have to say right now it would probably be, even though it's over now, it would be Jujutsu Kaisen. I like Jujutsu Kaisen. You know,
although I think season 3 is coming out. I'm not sure if it's out yet already.
Yeah. Season 3 is out. The manga is over though.
Manga's over.
Yeah, I really like how it's drawn and how sketchy the action scenes and the fight scenes are. It's like very chaotic, and I love that. You know.
Yeah, I'm a My Hero Academia type of guy. So.
My Hero. Oh man. Okay, so recently I've recently gotten into vigilantes.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? My Hero Vigilantes.
That's a good one.
Yeah, man. I'm starting to like vigilantes more than I like My Hero. You know what I mean? Because I love Knuckle Duster. Knuckle Duster is awesome, man. He reminds me of me. You know, he reminds me of me. Like you know, like if I was a crime fighter, I would be Knuckle Duster because I'm old and I'm dusty. So it'll be me.
So what's the expected like age group for your books?
So I have 2 books. I've got two main series. And I'm working on a 3rd series. So the main series is Shinobi Ninja Princess, which is this one right here. And it is all ages essentially. Has some action in it. It's all about ninjas. It's got to be about ninjas and martial arts. The second one, we did a relaunch of Jetta Tales of the Toshigawa from the 90s. So it's all like in color. And this one we've made it more adventurous and like young adult. So boom, bam, you know, a lot more stuff. It's a carryover. These 2 books right here are essentially in the same world. So that's why we redid this one, because we wanted it kind of to match the tone of this one. But it's still a little bit more it's older feeling. There's a little bit more at stake in the Jetta Tales of the Toshigawa books. So there's an entry point somewhere for everybody, tell you the truth. And even though I say all ages, a lot of parents and stuff like to read Shinobi Ninja Princess as well, because it has a lot of callbacks to like 80s cartoons and and you know, the 90s cartoons and stuff like that. Like I make a lot of jokes in there about video games and fighting games and, you know, Street Fighter and stuff like that. And if it's stuff like that you like, then you'll catch those little nuggets of things in there, you know.
So how long does it take to make one graphic novel?
A year.
Wow.
About a year. Yeah. About a year. Yeah. So now I will say though, I have been fortunate. I have been really fortunate that I've gotten my time together to where I actually last year came out with 2 graphic novels in 1 year. And that's crazy. That's like insane. That's like me sitting and drawing like all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and really I got a chance to do that. And it was fun, but it was very tiring. So I did get a chance to I did get a chance to do that, but normally it's about a year. And you know, sometimes you can speed that up a little bit, you know what I mean, depending on how many pages you get in there, you know, a day or a week or whatnot. But you know, if I'm pacing myself, it's a year.
So how do you stay motivated when it takes so long and your fans are wanting more?
That's a good question. How do I stay motivated? I just love my characters so much. I think I love the art of telling stories. You know what I mean? Whether it be like my stories or somebody else's stories, I like being able to tell stories and be able to draw those stories, man. I like being able to look into, like, write a script. I really like being able to write a script, laugh at my jokes that I put in there, and then give it to my wife and say, hey, do you get this? And then she says, no, I don't get it. And then I'll go back, oh God, and I'll go back and have to rewrite it. You know what I mean? Like I like stuff like that. I like doing that, man. I like doing, I like being able to just delve into the story of things and build universes and stuff like that. That is just like so much fun. So I think the motivation factor for me is just the fun factor, you know, how much fun I get out of just doing what I do.
So, do you already know most of the story that you're gonna tell, and we just, have to wait for it to hit the paper?
Yes. In the grand scheme, yeah, I do. I know the beginning, middle, and the end of the story. Now, that doesn't mean that that this is gonna sound like I have a little mental problem, but I don't have a mental problem. But sometimes the characters will lead you in different directions. And then sometimes it happens. Like if you really know your characters and your characters are, to you, they're living, breathing entities or people or whatnot. And every time you sit down, you write it, it feels like that you're just recording what they would do regardless, right? Sometimes you have something planned out and it just does not work with that character anymore. Part of it is just like the, us relaunching Jetta, the stuff that we did before when she was like in the bad girl era of Jetta, it doesn't jive well with where I am today or where the character is today or what we've actually evolved the character into. So things have to change. Things have to be added. Things have to be taken away. You know what I mean? And that's where you kind of want to be, because then you know that you have the character's best interest in the back of your head, and it's going to be hard for you to stray from that, because you would always think, oh, that's not what my character would do or say or think,
So this is just a random question, ad lib. Yeah. So do you ever have to kill off a good character that's helping the character in the story, so that they can overpass a great challenge?
Yes, I try not to do it. I try not to cheapen the effect. Or let's just say I try to be able to do that when the story, it's necessary for the story and it tells where the story is going to go.
Canon event.
Right. So and if it happens, I'm not bringing them back. So I put a lot of thought into what that what that means. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of all my characters I feel very close to, because sometimes I feel like they are like little parts of me. So if I end up killing off a character, it feels like, oh snap, I just killed off a part of me, man. I don't know how I feel about that. I might have to go out and take a walk. But yeah, so sometimes but if it necessitates the story, if it helps the story move forward and it's something that necessarily has to be done, yeah, I'll do it. And sometimes I would have it scripted in that this character is supposed to be not supposed to make it past this chapter. And sometimes the script just tells me, or the story tells and says that this character can live past a certain point. This character can go on past, this point, and I'll change it. You know what I mean? So like I said, it just depends on the story. If the story necessitates it, yes, I'll do it.
So in your job, what is the most misunderstood part about your work?
The most misunderstood part about my work is probably that it is just something that I just sit down and do, and that is not work. Like a lot of people think that it's not work, because I do like to draw, and that I do I love storytelling and stuff. That is not work. It's still work. It's like you're exercising, but you're exercising different muscles to be able to do it. You know what I mean? You're exercising your brain, and sometimes that can be just as tiring as exercising physically, or running down the street. You know what I mean? And then like I said, last year I did 2 graphic novels. That's not sleepy time. I didn't get good sleepy time doing 2 graphic novels in a year, So just stuff like that is
That
that's
just
the
means that you
big,
take 2 years for the next one. That way it's really good.
hey, but I will say that those when I did those two graphic novels, um they both were written way ahead of time. So I wrote them the year before. So I had two of them that were written a year before, and so the whole year I could take to just doing artwork. I didn't have to do anything
Yeah.
else. You know what I mean? So that helped me out. But like it was work. It's work. Being creative is kind of is work. And then if you're trying to be able to get your stuff out there too, trying to be able to market it and get it to the reader and try to talk to distributor and stuff like that. That stuff is work.
So your bio says that you did work on Marvel and Star Wars. So how is working on famous franchises different from your own characters?
Um, there is a little bit more of a pressure to be correct in the sense of a character. When I was doing stuff for them, I'm doing illustrations, so I mean I'm trying to be able to get things correct. Everybody knows what Darth Vader looks like. Everybody knows what's Spider-Man looks like. So
Surprisingly,
if
some people don't know what Darth Vader looks like.
that there's certain details I will say that people do not realize that are in Darth Vader suits, and it changes over time. Like it changes from movie to movie to movie, but people just see the silhouette in the dark suit and the beep beep bop bop bops on his chest, and they think, oh yeah, that's the same guy. It is the same guy, but the suit has changed.
Oh yeah.
So and I learned that by drawing some Topps cards. They were like, no man, you drew the wrong era of Star Wars, of Darth Vader. And I'm just like, oh snap, I did, didn't I? So being true to all that is the thing that I try to be able to do the most. Trying to be able to, that's I think the most pressure. I don't have that pressure really on my end because, I know my characters in and out, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to do something that everybody already knows about, you know what I mean? Some of my readers, they'll point things out and be like, wow, that was really, Jetta really changed on this page, or Andrea didn't do this the way I thought she would. But after, aside from those, I really don't have the pressure, I think, to get things exactly right, things like that. So I would say that would be the difference. The other difference is just notoriety. You know what I mean? It's just, you get more people. I was at a convention one time and it was like, hey, I did this. This is weird. Okay, so I did the comic book for Bad Girls Club, right? And I was in front of everybody. I was in front of these students, and I was like, "Hey, anybody know Power Rangers?" And nobody raised their hand. Star Wars? Nobody raised their hand. Some people were like, "Yeah," and then I was like, "Anybody know Bad Girls Club?" And everybody was like, "Ah, that's great! Bad Girls Club is so funny." And I'm just like, that makes no sense. And I actually said it. At the convention. I was like, that makes no sense, man. You guys know Bad Girls Club. You don't know who Darth Vader is. What universe am I living in right now? And then I was like, well, I do Bad Girls Club comic book, and they were just like, yay! I was just like, that makes no sense. I don't get it. All right, that's fine. Whatever.
I feel so bad for you.
I know, right? I was like, where am I at? Where is this place? What convention did I sign up for? I want to go home.
So what's the best advice that you've ever received, and who gave you that advice?
Let's see. Man, I've gotten a lot of good advice. I would probably say the best advice I got though was probably from it's probably from Billy Tucci. He's a dude who did the comic book She. He still does She back in the day. And he told me, he was like, he's the guy that was getting acupuncture in his arm. And he just said, hey, man, I really like that Jetta character that you got. And this was like a long time ago. And he was like, I really like the Jetta character you have right there. And I think you should just do that. Just do that. It was like the rest of your portfolio is good, but that Jetta character, there's something there about it that it seems like you're passionate about, just do that.
So
You know?
why would a kid, listening today, want to grow up and do your job?
Cause it's fun, kids. That's why.
Some kids
It's
think
fun.
work isn't fun. So why is
I
your
know.
job fun?
Well, it's imaginative. I think that we're lacking in sometimes in imaginative jobs out there. You know what I mean? And you get a chance to be able to join in somebody's imagination. I really like being able to do that. I feel like that is a fortunate thing when a person picks up my books and are able to read it, and they jive with it, and it affects their imagination, and they begin to live in that world as well. Like there's no other feeling than sitting there talking to somebody about the motivations of the characters that you created in the world that you've created. That's awesome. So I like that. I like being able to affect that, and I think that kids being able to have that kind of power, it would appeal to them.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
Yeah, sweet.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius!
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here talking with Martheus Wade, graphic novel artist and teacher. Wait, what? You teach this stuff? Well, it says here that you taught comic book classes with the comic studio in Memphis. So why is it important to teach teens these skills to others?
Man, I think that you have to be able to teach the younger generation what you do, so that your job can continue. And then I also believe too that once I was a little kid as well, and I was trying to figure my way out, and there wasn't anybody around me. I just kind of had to learn on my own about what to do. Best business practices. What does this mean about a writer? What's an inker? What's a penciler? Stuff like that. I had to learn that stuff. So having somebody available to teach it, I just felt like I was just doing a service to those kids that were like me.
So what is one skill that every teen should learn before becoming an adult?
One skill would probably be empathy. I just believe empathy, man. You need to have empathy for the person next to you. I believe that it's lost nowadays with everybody kind of being able to, they thinking more solely about themselves and stuff like that. Everybody thinking about themselves and stuff. It's kind of lost to have an empathetic heart, so I think that, empathy, learning how to be able to see through somebody else's situation and know that it doesn't always revolve around you.
So do you think AI has a positive role in your industry at all? Or are you worried it might take over parts of a job and cost people a living?
I really think that right now, for me personally, I don't feel threatened by it. You know what I mean? And the reason why is because you can't really copyright AI material right now. You know what I mean? It is built on too many other factors for you to actually be able to to copyright it. But I do think that it does really take away from the job industry as far as like, a graphic designer is out there and an illustrator is out there. It does. But it also tells you if you look at it, it tells you the companies that are willing to use AI in that respect, as opposed to paying somebody to do something that's soulful. Kind of tells you where that company is. So the ones that do use AI, I kind of skirt around and don't kind of deal with them. And the artists that use AI, they're kind of doing themselves a disservice because they don't they are doing something that essentially is soulless, and really, tell you the truth, they're kind of creating themselves out of a job. They're like doing a using a program that's really going to take their job away eventually. So it's just kind of like, I don't like it. The technology is here. I do think that there's other ways to be able to use AI, that would help mankind and not hurt mankind. And I think by taking away artistic jobs, like that, it does hurt mankind a lot more.
So, if you had to go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
It would be to do not give away all your He-Man that you had, and keep your Transformers. I would tell them, keep your Transformers and your G.I. Joes in package, and not
Still in
tear
the
that package
box?
open. In the box.
Still in the Amazon box that you got it from?
Not even an Amazon box. Keep it on the peg. You got it at KB Toys or wherever you got it from. Keep it on the peg.
Keep it on the
son.
shelf.
Yes, you keep it there, and you pack it away, and then I, by way of being, timey-wimey play around stuff in the Marvel universe and how they do things, I would become rich and famous based off of your hard work of keeping things in package. That's what I would tell my 14-year-old self. Keep it in package, buddy. Don't open up that Star Wars toy. You don't need to see it. Look at it. Put it away. That's what I would say.
I mean, I would say buy Bitcoin, but I mean...
See, your 14 is
we haven't
different.
gotten that answer a lot, and I think...
No. Yeah. Your 14 is different than my 14. My 14 is like, I'm looking at all the toys that I just gave away, and stuff like that. It was like, or I just ripped the package open, and I'm just like, man, I would have, now knowing nowadays, I would have put that package up and put it in somewhere safe, and then brought it out to sell it on eBay somewhere for a gazillion dollars.
So what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Oh man, the biggest mistake that I ever made probably was being able to spending a lot of money on trying to print my first book. I spent like almost $1,000 on a proof copy. You know what I mean? And that's crazy. That's one book. You can't do anything with it. I learned my lesson after that, as far as like being able to use the resources that I have to be able to do the stuff that I need. But it was a good lesson to learn, because I learned a lot about the printing industry, and a lot about being able to the technology that was coming up. But that's costly. Yes, that's costly. That's money. That's G.I. Joe money, man. I could have been buying G.I. Joe men with that.
So, Martheus, what do you do for fun when, you're not working?
Oh, man. Play video games. I play video games.
So,
what's your
favorite video game?
Right now is Street Fighter. I I love Street Fighter 6. I've been playing that. And then I also love. I've been playing the new Assassin's Creed. I like that game. Let's see. I like Marvel Rivals. I really like. I watch my son playing Marvel Rivals more. I'm not good at it. I can't aim very well.
What do you mean?
Punisher and Psylocke. I love Psylocke. Psylocke is fun, even though it's hard to be able to do damage. It's fun. She's fun. I want to say it's hard. You just got to be able to. You got to be able to pinpoint your shots, man. It's with Psylocke a lot more than Punisher. Punisher, you just sit back and you're It's pretty easy, but Psylocke, you got to be in the fight all the time. You know.
I main Venom, so I just take damage a lot, and I'm good at I'm good at arcs and stuff like that. So when I'm high in the air to do more damage. Yeah, no, I'm naturally good at that.
Yeah. I like. I used to play Overwatch, so that's why. And my main in Overwatch used to be Soldier 76, and I used to like Orisa, but then I jumped out of that. With Overwatch 2, I was like disappointed. And then when Marvel Rivals came out, the closest to Soldier 76 was Punisher. You know, so I picked up Punisher real quick. But then I love the X-Men, and Psylocke was there, and I was like, man, I gotta play an X-Men. So, and my boy Cyclops wasn't there, so I had to pick Psylocke.
So, what's your favorite book to read then?
Oh man,
Other than your own. Other than
my own, anything by Stephen King right now. I love Stephen King. You know, I love Stephen King. I love pretty much, man. Stephen King is all that I've been reading right now. I mean, I was reading like I like mystery and like horror. You know, so I like my friend Sarah Freitas. I like her book. Her book
she
that
has some good cosplays. I interviewed her a few weeks
ago.
Yeah.
So I like her book too. But I would say Stephen King, man. Stephen King is my favorite though, you know.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? You know, remember, this is a kid's show. But that one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me.
It would be that I once was in the backyard playing with ninja stars, and I wasn't supposed to be playing with ninja stars in the backyard. And I threw a ninja star and accidentally struck a bird, a flying bird, a bird that was flying. Like it was flying. I didn't see it at the peripheral flying in, and I threw it, and it hit the bird. And man, I cried for like 3 hours.
Well, did you eat it?
Huh? Did I do what?
Well, did you eat it?
No way. I buried him and cried. My mom came outside because I couldn't tell my mom about it because I wasn't supposed to be in the backyard throwing ninja stars in the first place. That's dangerous, right? So she was like, "What are you out here crying about?" And I was just like, "Ooh."
Bird fell out of the sky.
Yeah, I know. Bird fell out the sky and died. She was like, "What? Boy, get in here."
So what's next for your career?
Oh, well, at the end of the year, I have a motion comic that is fully cast voice actors and actresses and stuff like that are in that's going to be debuting on YouTube. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome. So I got brought on to do casting for it. My script is I have to rewrite the script and stuff like that for an anime, which is really cool. So and I'm working with some animators to bring some of the panels to life to actually move and stuff like that. So that's going to be exciting, man. I am excited about that. Like speaking to the people with the soundtrack and all that kind of stuff, man. So that's coming out in December. So that look out for that.
Got it. It's in my mind. So what's the best place for teens to find your work? I mean, do you have some socials to share?
Yes. So you can look at Toshigawa Universe on either TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, um, the main ones like that. And you can look at our YouTube show, and our YouTube show is mostly it's like my son and me, and we talk about like comics, we talk about manga, we talk about video games, but I have some tutorials that are on there as well. So I show some progress shots of me drawing, some behind the scenes at conventions and things like that, and that's at toshigawa.dot.com. So it's toshigawa.dot.com.
So, what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
How old I am? I'm 103. I've been around for a long time, and I've seen a lot of things. Not all of it is pretty.
Huh. Well, thank you, Martheus, the 103-year-old, for being my special guest. Can
You're
you
welcome.
stick around for Math Corners?
Yes. I will be around for Math Corners.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call your Computer Solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling your Computer Solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners.
And thank you, Martheus, for helping with Math Corners. This week, we're just on multi-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding problems for me to solve, and today, we're going to talk about a graphic novel artist. You should be good at this one. So, Frankie is a graphic novel artist that is trying to finish a graphic novel that's 80 pages of artwork. He works slowly and carefully on each image to do a good job. I mean, on average, he completes 2 pages every 9 days. If Frankie keeps at this pace, how many days will it take him to finish the full graphic novel?
Yeah.
I know.
If it was me, it would take me 2 weeks. I'm lying. I have no idea.
Okay, well, I got this one. I'll go ahead and answer.
All right, go ahead. You can take this one.
Well, first,
I know the answer.
What is it?
I just want to make sure you know the answer.
So, first is a world problem because it's important to plan far enough, to complete a task and determine what your time is worth. So, first is to figure out a variable that we call a set. This is the amount for 2 pages. So, the book will be 80 pages. You can divide that by 2 pages per 9 days, and you get 40 sets of time. So this is way harder than my normal ones. So you have 40 sets of 9 days to complete the book. So to find out the number of days, just multiply the 40 by the 9. That's easy. 9 is 36. And add 0. Take 360 days to make the graphic novel. That's 5 days under a year. Unless it's a leap year, then it's 6.
Yeah. See, that's pretty good. That means that you're actually, for real, you're actually doing really well if you come in under the year's time. So you're doing pretty good. You're flying with your pages.
So Martheus, do you have to figure out how long it takes to make your novels to plan for publishers and promotions?
Oh man, if I'm doing publishers and promotions, most of the time it's just up to whatever the schedule that they use and they put together. So a lot of times it is we try to actually be 3 months ahead most of the time. So by the time that you guys are getting it, I'm on to my next book somewhere. I'm pretty much gone. So we try to stay ahead of time because it's got to go from me to the inker from the writer to me to the inker to the colorist back to the editor again. So it's gotta make its rounds. So scheduling is key. You know, it boils down to being almost, I think, as long as you do a page a day, then you'll be able to make your schedule for editorial.
So my teacher said that I would use math every single day. How do you use math with your work?
By using perspectives. Perspective is nothing but using math lines and being able to calculate distance from foreground to background, and how to make things look like it's in the, it gets smaller in the background, closer it gets to the viewer in the camera. It gives you a depth of field. So that is all mathematics. It's visual mathematics, but it's the same thing. It's all mathematics.
For sophomores, yes, this is what geometry is about.
Exactly. That was the only thing in math that I excelled at, was geometry. I love geometry because I understood it instantly.
Well, thank you so much, Martheus, for your help with Math Corners.
Awesome. Pleasure.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the heart of a lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. The qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone's being obedient when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. So this week, I was with my dad doing some computer work with some of his clients for his computer company while being paid. This is not child labor. And one client was having a hard time with his printer. He was getting very frustrated with it, because he hasn't been able to do his work on paper for about a week, and he's calling us to come and fix it. So I asked my dad what we should do about the problem, and we both troubleshot the problem with the printer, and we figured out that the problem was with the software. And the client was very happy to see that it was a tiny problem that could be fixed. So we both looked up ways to, find new drivers for the software of the printer. I found it, obviously, and, I asked permission first and to add it to the client's computer and put the software on the printer, and it was working great. So this was showing obedience because I was doing the job right and willingly and having a good attitude while doing so. Sometimes obedience isn't about listening to your parents, but it's doing the job correctly and being obedient to the clients and respecting their requests.
Sweet. Awesome.
So, Martheus, did you see or use obedience at all this week?
Did I use obedience? I use obedience when I'm trying to be able to, I teach classes on Tuesdays. Well, Mondays and Tuesdays, I still teach classes, artwork and stuff like that. So, I'm always trying to be very cognizant of the things that I am teaching kids, as far as like what they are, the right ways to be able to use the tools and things that I'm giving them. And in my second class on Tuesdays, it's all live, so I'm there with the kids and stuff like that, and giving them a little bit of, I want them to be able to discuss amongst themselves, but also being able to let them know that, obedience to the rules is something that all of us have to be able to adhere to. And the rules in the classroom is that you can't be able to, you can't go running around. You can't, you got to listen to the teacher, and you listen to the teacher with your eyes and your ears and not your mouth sometimes. You know what I mean? So being able to adhere to those rules for them and for me is, how I actually have been using obedience this week.
Well, of all of the Heart of Lion virtues, I'll list them again: leadership, integrity, obedience, nobility. Which one's your favorite?
I love nobility probably the most, and the reason why is because I like being able to one, keep my word, be able to use the things that I've done to be able to help people, and to be able to, even my mistakes, to be able to nobly help people, not make the mistakes that I've made. That is all about growing and stuff like that for me, and being able to show my son how to be able to do those same things and have those same qualities. That's like really important.
So we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Yeah, always. And my company is called Mall Productions. It has a lion in it, so in the logo. So there you go. It all comes back. It all circles back around, man. It all circles back around.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Martheus Wade for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking to you today. I think we learned a lot about your work as a comic book artist and graphics designer.
Awesome. Thank you for having me on the show. This was awesome. If you guys want to call me back to talk about anime, just give me a call. Call me on the phone. We don't even have to record.
Giving your social media and website again before you go?
Yes. Check us out at ToshigawaUniverse.com. And that's where we have all our books and we have all our merchandise.
Well, also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, KNT 98, Soul Radio 24/7, EasyWay TV, and all the other stations that air on my show. And please visit us on YouTube at The Tiberius Show. And please hit that subscribe button. So, Martheus, are you subscribed?
Am I? Yes! I am subscribed.
You sure?
And you should subscribe too, listener. Where else?
Well, on this week, Ingrid Hubert 3649 says, Paul, I'm so very proud of you. I love your altruism and energy. Love this positive message and dedication. I think she meant that for Paul Lowry, but WJHM102jams._com says that lady got some skills, so I guess these are just about the guests. So be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of my show. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.